Welcome back to the 51st episode of the BatChums podcast. I'm Drew Leiter, and joining me tonight is my co-host, the man, the myth, the new legend, Mike Gordon.
Howdy! Once again, I am playing nothing. I'm not playing any. I have a keyboard here, but I'm not touching it. So, but it's not, it's a computer keyboard. It is not a. I have no business being around a piano keyboard at all, Drew. None.
Me either. So,
I cannot do it. I am in awe of Liberace's talent for this kind of thing because every time I have attempted to play the piano or really any musical instrument, I have not done well.
I used to play the trumpet, but I haven't played that since junior high. So that's a long time
So
ago.
that was like what, 2 weeks ago?
Sure. All right. So this is Batman Season 2, Episode 16, The Dead Ringers. Episode aired Thursday, October 27th, 1966, directed by Larry Pierce and written by Lorenzo Semple Jr.
Hi, Lorenzo Semper Jr. Woohoo!
When we last saw the dynamic duo, Chandell's twin brother Harry had captured Batman and Robin. He tied them up and put them on a conveyor belt that fed into a paper roll machine. Holy metronome! Are Batman and Robin going to be stamped out? Only Magic Batman knows the answer.
Dun dun dun. I
There
don't
he is.
I don't think he's playing the piano either.
I don't think so either.
He doesn't have fingers.
All right, Magic Batman. Will Batman and Robin be stamped out? Batman, Magic Batman says, "You've won this fight."
Okay.
So apparently they're going to get out of it.
Well, good for them.
Robin's toes are almost in the puncher when Batman gets a brilliant idea. He tells Robin that every ounce of breath that is in him, sing each note precisely as Batman does. Holy racket! We get the worst singing in the history of television.
Bebop, bop, 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 bop. See, now that I can do, Drew. That I can do.
Do, Ray, and Mimi all complain to Harry, who states it is just the death squeal of a brace of bats.
we
Holy!
do get we do get them named in this episode.
Yes, we do.
I don't think we talked a lot about them, but it should be noted that yeah, this is the first time that the bad guy has had three malls, right? We got Do, Ray, and Mimi, played by Do is played by Marilyn Hanold. Ray is played by Edie Williams, who also appeared in another Batman episode. She was the hostess in the Hot Off the Griddle when they went to the cat. What was that? The sort of
The cat
uh,
themed restaurant.
yeah, the cat themed club, if you will. Man, I wish I could remember the name of that. But anyway, so she was the one that served them there, and Mimi is played by Sylvia Aberg, who we will see again. And I'll just leave it at that. Dot dot dot. Not in the same role though, I don't think.
Holy Caruso! Batman and Robin exit the machine with a bunch of shredded paper. Even the ropes that held them captives were cut. Batman congratulates Robin on his singing. It saved their lives.
Well, I mean, okay, so Lorenzo Semple Jr., I know you're not with us anymore, and I apologize, but this was awful. I mean, first of all, Batman and Robin weren't even tied to the conveyor, so they could have just rolled off at any time. And I don't know, it just was a pretty weak cliffhanger, to be honest with you. I did find it interesting about using the Stars and Stripes Forever, as we talked about in the last episode, but the end result of how they got out of it. I mean, is it funny and absolutely ludicrous that the dynamic duo are singing and trying to get out of this mess? It
Yes.
is. It is. Uh, but it it's still kind of weak to
It's
me.
weak, but it's memorable because I remembered it from when I was 5. So,
Well, then then I guess that's why Lorenzo Sebas Jr. got paid the big bucks and I don't. Because obviously that's the key. If you can remember it, it must have made an impact. So,
holy perfect pitch. Batman explains how they escaped. Music by the master piano is picked up by a microphone and is transmitted to the perforating cylinders to reproduce the chords perfectly. They outshouted the piano. They didn't get punched full of holes because the notes Batman selected, they were calculated to make the punches fall precisely around the outline of their bodies. Batman visualized the chords in his mind.
I'm just what do you say to that? You just have to move on.
Yes. Batman pulls out his batarang and tells Robin, "Let's burst in and bag those birds." Batman and Robin surprise Harry. Harry presses a button on the piano and a secret door opens. Do, Ray, and Mimi escape, but Harry gets knocked down by a batarang.
Okay, couple things here. One, Adam West, I don't know if it was his idea or what, but having him come in with a piece of, you know, music paper stuck to his foot was hilarious. I love
It
that,
was.
just that little touch. And then him using the batarang. We don't see them use the batarang a lot. The Batman that we're used to uses the batarang all the time. But this one, I mean, he actually throws it at him and plunks him, and Harry goes down. That's like
Mhm.
that's pretty cool. You don't see him them use the batarang that often, but I did like its use here.
Yeah, I did too. Back at police headquarters, Harry is interrogated by Commissioner Gordon and Chief O'Hara. Harry states he works for a man named Fingers, who has a plot to get his mitts on the entire Wayne fortune. Harry's attorney, Alfred Sly, interrupts the interrogation and shuts it down, stating the police do not have any witnesses and even blames the dynamic duo for breaking the music roll machine. And I thought it was very funny because on the wall there was a sign that states "Subtle Interrogation Lamp."
And it was anything but. But the lawyer came prepared with sunglasses and a pith helmet. I
Now,
do really, I do really love uh, Liberace's performance as Harry. He is really chewing scenery here. I almost like him better as Harry than I do as Chandell. And Chandell doesn't really appear much in this two-parter, but his we get a lot of Harry, and I think Liberace is really fun.
the lawyer Alfred Sly was played by, I hope I don't mispronounce his last name, James Milholleren,
Yes.
and I recognized him when he came in because he was also in the Don Knotts movie, The Ghost of Mr. Chicken. I know we keep coming back to this movie, but I keep seeing actors that were in it.
And this is
And
right around the same time too.
yeah, because it came out the movie came out that same year. Now, in The Ghost of Mr. Chicken, he played a banker named Mr. Milo Maxwell. So a little different character, but I recognized him right away.
Yeah, he has got a ton of credits. I think I recognize him. He's in a few different episodes of The Twilight Zone. He shows up there quite a lot, and yeah, he's a solid character actor,
Yep,
and really good at playing like the squirmy kind of lecherous lawyer.
yep. He did a good job at that. In the Batcave, Alfred informs Batman that Mrs. Cooper has another secret rendezvous with with the maestro Chandell in his dressing room atop the Gotham Town Hall. Holy Bluebeard! Robin figures out that Chandell and Fingers is the same guy.
Dun dun dun. That's some detective work right there.
Batman and Robin sit down and summon every ounce of his keen musical memory. Thinking back to Chandell's White House performance that made him famous, holy, I'm going to pronounce his name wrong. Holy Paderski. Pa- Paderski. Robin realizes that Chandell used a music roll for his performance. In
Yeah,
his
that's I like that scene. It is kind of fun to watch the two of them and Robin sort of, and they have the image of Liberace above them, uh and sort of playing the piano, so we get to see him play the piece. And just FYI, Paderewski is a real person. He actually is a real. He was a pianist, a real pianist, and he was also a former prime minister of Poland.
Oh wow.
So yeah, he was a real person that existed. He was not alive when this was made. He passed away about 25 years before this, but yeah. So, but he's a real person, a real pianist.
In his dressing room, Chandell performs and sings. Yeah. In his dressing room, Chandell performs and sings to Aunt Harriet while she is holding a red rose. Batman and Robin spy from the window, realizing that Aunt Harriet is totally under his spell. Batman comes up with a plan.
It's pretty creepy. They're just like
Yeah.
they're just like standing there watching them, like, hey, this is kind of well, you could tell Robin, is getting a little upset, seeing his aunt kind of go for this guy and everything, and it's weird, but it's fun.
Back at Wayne Manor, there's an explosion in Dick Grayson's darkroom. Alfred discovers that Bruce and Dick are dead.
So So Batman comes up with this scheme to let them think, let the world, once again, he's lying to the newspapers, let the world know that Bruce and Dick are dead. Um, as far as I know, even Alfred doesn't know that they're alive. Although somebody must be getting food to them down in the Batcave. But certainly Aunt Harriet doesn't know, and goodness gracious, that is a horrible thing to do to Mrs. Cooper.
Yep.
She's already having a hard enough time as it is. So we'll see that it leads her to do some extreme things, I think, in this episode.
Back at his hideout, Chandell tells his lovely ladies he is going straight after he marries Mrs. Cooper and pays off his brother. Not happy about this, Ray plays the bagpipes, knocking out Chandell. They inform Harry of Chandell's plans, and he comes up with one of his own.
I think it's Doe that actually has the bagpipes, the redhead.
I thought the redhead was Ray.
I think it's Doe, but I could be wrong about that.
I know I could be wrong too, so
As far
I'm
as I could
sure I'm
tell,
sure
no,
one of our fans will
it's
correct
Doe.
us.
It's Doe. I just looked at IMDb, and that is
It is Dale.
definitely Marilyn Hanold there. Yeah, that's Doe. Doe's the one with the bagpipes.
All right. So
The
I
other
got
ones actually don't speak until the second part, right? I don't know if they say anything in the first part. I can't remember if they didn't even actually have any lines.
maybe in that initial scene when they come into Wayne Manor,
Well, I know that Doe speaks, and she speaks
right?
in this really bad Scottish accent, which is par for the course for this show, so it's all fun. But yeah, but they all have speaking roles here. But yeah, they do not like the idea of going straight.
At Wayne Manor, Chandell consoles a mourning Aunt Harriet. Batman and Robin observe in the Batcave on the Wayne Manor closed circuit TV.
Again,
Chandell
creepy.
proposes. Yeah, it's creepy, but where was the security last season when they kept having people breaking into the Wayne Manor? Of course, maybe
Well,
they added this because they needed the security.
they finally were like, okay, let's put let some cameras up there finally. Until the next time that, you know, Bruce Wayne Manor needs to be broken into. So
Chandell proposes a memorial concert at the Gotham Town Hall tonight and asks Mrs. Cooper to sing. Chandell kisses Aunt Harriet's hand and leaves. Aunt Harriet shouts for Alfred and asks for a glass of blackberry brandy. She just realized that the man that kissed her hand was an imposter.
She's going straight for the booze. She doesn't have her ward anymore or her nephew anymore, and she doesn't have Bruce to hang out with anymore. So she's going straight for the booze. Even Alfred's shocked. He's like, "Really? What? Why? Why? Because that's not something she usually asks for."
Later on, Aunt Harriet is practicing her singing with Chandell. She removes her
Not with
hat.
Chandell.
I know it's not Chandell, but
He
he's been
knows it's not too. Everybody knows that it's not Chandell.
okay. Would you just let me read it, okay? We'll get to it. Later on, Aunt Harriet is practicing her singing with Chandell. She removes her hat and pulls a gun on Chandell. She reveals that she knows the truth that he is really Chandell's evil twin brother, Harry. See, there's the reveal.
To nobody, to the surprise of nobody, Drew. We all know this.
We all
Now,
know it, but
what
they're
the big shock of the scene is Aunt Harriet packing heat.
yes,
I
I
mean,
know. I don't think we've ever seen Aunt Harriet pack heat before.
we haven't seen anybody except for criminals pack heat. I don't know where she got that gun. She's loaded and she is ready to use it. She is over it. She has been, she has just lost the people closest to her. She's boozing it up. She doesn't trust this guy, and so she's Aunt Harriet is in a mood to kill. I think it's a wonderful this whole storyline, as good as having Liberace on there and getting the ratings and everything like that. And it's fun to an extent, but the real MVP of this whole story is Madge Blake. She for a season and a half, she has done nothing really, except for make little comments like, "Where are they going?" And you know, and sometimes she's just there and she doesn't even have lines. But finally, Lorenzo Semple Jr. gives her something to do in a plot that doesn't just involve her, getting kidnapped. Although she does get kidnapped, but um, and she's great. I mean, Madge is a great actress, and she's got over 120 credits to her name. This woman, and this is, and she's at the sort of tail end of her career of her life. She dies in 1969. So this is it's good to have that she has these moments. And as we said before, we don't know if she was sickly and she couldn't do much, and that's why her character doesn't do much. But I'm glad at least at this once, and we'll see if it happens again for the rest of the run of the show. But I'm glad that she gets this moment to have these two episodes
I honestly think she got more screen time than Adam West or Burt Ward.
in this two-parter. Yeah, you're probably right. You're probably right, especially since the beginning. Adam and Dick are not even in it for the first, I don't know, 10 minutes maybe.
When I was doing my notes, I think I remember seeing it around 10 minutes when they finally showed Bruce in his tent. So somewhere between 10 and 15.
Yeah, so you're
So
right. So
that's all.
she's in the bulk of this, and she's great. She's great.
Yeah,
They
she
should
does
they
a
should
good
have
job.
given more for her to do.
Harry admits the original plan was to marry her so he could steal the Wayne fortune, but the plan had been revised. Instead, they are going to hold her ransom. Doe sneaks up behind Aunt Harriet and plays her bagpipes, causing Aunt Harriet to fall asleep. Harry orders Doe to play a little tune for the driver, aka Alfred. Harry grabs the telephone and tells his piano movers to put the old lady and her butler in the trunk. A little while later, the trunk is brought up into Harry's hideout. Harry pulls out a gun and fires it into the crate.
Okay, this is pretty brutal. I mean, we don't usually see uh, gunplay like this on the show, and he's channeling some, and we'll see it later too. But Liberace is channeling some James Cagney here with his ruthlessness, which is kind of fun.
But it didn't make any sense. You're supposed to be holding her ransom for money. How are you supposed to do that if she's dead?
Yeah, you're right. Well, when does this show make sense? All right, so
Harry turns to Doe and states she was a sweet old lady.
oh,
Batman and
I did want to point this out too. I think it's really sweet, and it's out of character, but I think it's really sweet that Harry, when Doe shows up and knocks Aunt Harriet out, she's supposed to just fall to the ground because she's knocked unconscious. But Liberace, as Harry, cradles her and slowly brings her down. I thought that was really, really sweet. That they didn't want Madge to just take a fall down like they just and it's way out of character. There's no way Harry would care at all if
yeah,
Aunt Harriet
but
dives down. But from an actor's standpoint of view, I thought it was a really kind of a sweet moment.
yeah, I thought it was too. And her being in a more delicate condition, we don't know what her health was at the time.
Sure.
And he might have been, being careful with her on purpose. So
Oh, absolutely. No, it was a little thing. I didn't even notice it the first time I watched it. Second time I watched it, I was like, "Oh, look at Liberace being doing a good thing here."
Batman and Robin pop out of the crate using the Bat Shield. Batman states, "Not just sweet Harry, but one of the bravest women ever born."
Damn straight. Give her some props.
Robin states that they've been tracking Harriet via a secret radio placed in Mrs. Cooper's handbag. They rescued her and the chauffeur on the sidewalk. Batman put the Bat Shield away, stating it is time to end his criminal. Er, Batman puts the Bat Shield away, stating it is time to end this criminal symphony, and a
And and what
fight ensues.
and once again we wonder where the heck does he put it?
I was wondering that too. I was like, he folds it up and then acts like he's hanging it on his belt or something. It just
He he
disappears.
he always does that. They cut him, they shoot him from the waist up, and he always packs it in like it's going in his utility belt. And it's like, there's no way. There's no way. But you know what? I love this show. I love it.
Well, if they can go down a pole and be instantly into their costumes, they can fold up a shield and put it in
Sure.
their bat belt.
You're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. I mean, you know what you're getting, right? Um, the like I said, logic doesn't apply to this show. It's just it is fun, and I love the bat shield. Whenever it pops up, it's always cool looking. If I could have one behind me, I would.
Batman and Robin take on the piano movers. Doe tries to use the bagpipes on the dynamic duo, but it doesn't work. Batman uses a bat gas pellet on them. My question is, why didn't the bagpipes work on the dynamic duo? I was waiting for them to say something like, "We're wearing bat earplugs" or something,
It
but they
you know
did. They never explained it.
It could be. It's a fair question, and but I feel like that the second time I watched it, I felt like they cut really quickly there. I felt like maybe the episode was going long or something, and maybe that was there originally, and then they cut it because he puts, he blows the bat gas on them, throws the pellet at them, and then the next shot, they're all down, and so we don't even see them fall. It's just like a quick cut. So I get a feeling that there was some stuff there, but they probably was cut for time.
I could see that.
So.
Batman and Robin run to the next room to find Chandell and the lawyer tied up and being fed into the paper roll machine. Batman shuts off the machine. Back at police headquarters, Commissioner Gordon gives Mrs. Cooper a Special Citizens Anti-Crime Award while Bruce and Dick watch. Mrs. Cooper states that a person just does as they have to do, and that's what makes America great.
Apparently, she's gotten over the shock of them being alive. Which that was a mean thing to do to her. But it is kind of nice to, and the way she brushes it off, she's like, "Oh, I just enough about me," and she gets a letter from Chandell, and she reads that, and and she sells that really well. It's done pretty well. She has her moment, which is great.
Yep. Mrs. Cooper is given a note from Chandell that reads, Dear sweet Harriet, it's better this way. I'm not worthy of you. I must leave this morning on a long, long tour. Goodbye, yours Chandell. Commissioner Gordon adds, with the usual time for good performance, his tour should last about 3 years. Trying to cover the fact that he's in prison. In prison, Chandell is performing for the prisoners while Harry promises he is busting out of prison.
Again, he's doing a sort of Cagney impersonation. He's like, "Hey, see, I'm busting out of here, see." So suddenly, he goes from this sort of butch mobster that he's been playing all this time to channeling James Cagney here. But it's kind of fun. Um, I get some real big Jailhouse Rock vibes from that last scene, which was in 1957 with Elvis Presley. And Liberace's tune that he sings, which is the Prisoner song, is kind of done in an Elvis-y rockabilly kind of way. The original song, I thought it was from the 60s, but it was actually from the 20s. So uh, Liberace is playing it in this sort of, like I said, rockabilly way, which is pretty cool. And yeah, this is the first time I think in a while too that we've seen the malls locked up. They've been getting away the last few
Yeah,
stories.
they have been.
But these malls really needed to go down. Like they needed to be in jail because they were part of the plan all along. I mean, they did a lot of the dirty work.
They did. And I wondered if they had Harry say he was going to bust out because they were hoping to have Liberace back on at some point.
It could be. I mean, with the big ratings and everything, probably. Um, I would not be surprised if he was asked, and I would have welcomed it. I thought this was pretty strong. It was pretty fun. I don't know where you could go from there, but Liberace was fun he's not, look, he's not the best actor, but that's never been a requirement for this show. Uh, um, but he does, he understands camp. He understands the tone of this show. And he looks like he's having a blast. From what I understand, he had a great experience doing this. He was gracious on the set. He played mini concerts for the cast and crew often after filming, but he did insist on using his own piano. I believe all those are his actual outfits too
Yeah,
that he's wearing.
that's what I was getting ready to say. I read that all the outfits he used were his own outfits.
So he brings his own
Wardrobe.
Liberace-ness to the role and has a lot of fun with it. And I thought he was great. I thought he was great. I mean, for a two-parter that could have gone any way. It's got a lot of great moments. And like I said, even though Liberace's playing these two roles, he's the headliner. Madge Blake is the star of this one. But another thing that's about this too, because you kind of I don't know if you've been keeping track, but it seemed to me that there was a lot more holy exclamations from Robin than we usually get.
Yeah, there
Usually we
was
might get one or two an episode. There's 12 in this two-parter. Yes, I counted, Drew. I counted. There are 12. And that's a lot. Like, I don't think every time Robin opens his mouth, he needs to exclaim holy this or that or the other thing. Some of them are fun, but others are just kind of there and forgettable. And I don't know. I just thought it was a little bit too much. So Simple Jr. should have dialed it back a bit. I don't know if that's what we're in store for. If from now on we're going to see him like every scene, he says holy something or other.
let's
Uh,
hope
cer
not.
certainly it has became a huge thing of pop culture where for even to this day, when there's news that's Batman related, people like headlines will say like "Holy this" or something like they'll use that because it's so ingrained in the pop culture. And this is why, because 12 times in a two-parter, that's just too much.
Holy nightmare.
Yeah, like holy exclamation, Batman. Uh,
And
so
then
I did think that was a bit much.
and then this episode ends with next week the penguin waddles again.
Yes,
And
yeah.
we hadn't seen that since season one.
Yeah, it's
And
been a
it,
while.
and I was surprised it was back.
Well, I mean, in a way, I mean, if you know that you're getting the ratings, you want people to be like, okay, and this is the second return of a popular character. So this is good news. I mean, I was happy to see that. Like I mean, normally I don't like spoiled who's coming next, but in this case, I was like, woohoo, Penguin. All right, because this is the first we haven't gotten Burgess Meredith this season yet.
Right. We've only gotten out of the big four, we've only gotten Catwoman this season so far.
He was in
So,
the second two-parter of the
yep,
season, and yeah, everybody else has been new.
yep.
Well, Tut returned, but
Well,
I
yeah,
mean,
Tut
yeah,
returned.
yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah. But as far as the classic villains, yeah, we haven't seen any of them yet. So this season, except for Catwoman, and so yeah, I'm like, bring it on, Burgess. Come on, man. I love Burgess as the Penguin, so I can't wait till next week when we talk about it, Drew. Knowing full well our recording schedule will be like next month when we actually get to review it. Little inside baseball, kids, but yes, that's the truth.
All right. Well, that wraps up another episode. Do you have a shout out, Mike?
I do. Since we are talking about Aunt Harriet, and since we are talking about Madge Blake's performance in this, and you know, this is one of the last performances that Madge Blake did before she passed away. We also lost another just recently. We lost an actress that had actually played the only other actress that I know of to have played Aunt Harriet, and that was Lynn Marie Stewart, who was the voice of Aunt Harriet in the two animated movies, Batman: Return of the Cape Crusaders and Batman versus Two-Face, both of which I hope we review at some point because they are awesome. But yeah, she's best known for a lot of other things. She was in American Graffiti, and she was in a lot of other movies and TV shows. She was most, I guess, recently on Oh, It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia. But most notably, I think people remember her as Miss Yvonne from Pee-wee's Playhouse, and she was also featured and did various roles in almost all of Pee-wee's movies because they were pretty close. Um, so it's a sad loss that she's not with us anymore either. But yeah, I did want to make that note because yeah, go Aunt Harriet. She needed more moments that were awesome.
All right. And for my shout out, I think I'm going to shout out about the Ghost and Mr. Chicken because we keep seeing actors and actresses showing up on this show from that movie or that were in that movie. So I'm going to shout out about it because I love that movie, and for some
Good
reason we
movie.
keep coming back to it. So if you haven't checked it out, I suggest checking it out. It's a I think it's a good comedy. It's an old style comedy. If you love Don Knotts, you'll love this movie. And if you have seen it before, rewatch it again.
Well, I don't know if it's streaming anywhere, but yes, however you can try to get it, get it. It is fun. As you mentioned, Don Knotts is great in it, and it's got that same kind of, you know, fun, campy humor that was prevalent in the 60s, I think. And yeah, you will see a lot of familiar faces, not like big names, because unfortunately, Don Knotts never did Batman, which I don't understand how that could have not happened. But apparently,
Yeah.
Don Knotts was focusing on his movie career.
Yeah.
Um, but uh, but yeah, a lot of the character actors that are in that movie show up on at various times on Batman. So it's kind of fun.
Yep. All right. If you'd like to comment on anything we've talked about tonight, you can reach us at our feedback line 317-455-8411. Text us, leave us a message, or you can email us at batchumspodcast@gmail.com. All right. You ready to get out of here, Batchum?
BatChums ready to move out.
Atomic batteries to power, turbines to speed. Thanks for joining us, and we'll see you next week. Same bat time, same bat channel.
Don't worry. The worst. This might be the worst. This might be the worst so far that I'm doing. The worst is yet to come.